and welcome to the new episode of the Frank Ireland Show. I'm your host, Frank Ireland, and I'm so sorry for you guys who've been waiting for a new episode. I really am. It's been like 7 months since the last episode, and I'm totally sorry about that.
I'm sorry for everything.
I should kind of explain. So, the last episode was in like October, I believe, and there was supposed to be an episode in November. But I couldn't do that because in November, I was too busy working on my Man of Steel movie Masherama.
You know what? I think the underwear outside the pants is something that maybe can go.
Fuck you. I would like my undies back.
And that takes up a lot of space on my laptop, so I'm like, alright, so after my Man of Steel mashup, I'll make a new Frank Ireland show. So then December comes along, I finish with the Man of Steel video, but then I realize, shit, I'm going on Christmas vacation, I can't make a new episode, damn it. So then after Christmas vacation, I'm like, yes, I'm going to make a new episode, and then I just got the jitteries. I'm like, I got nothing to talk about, you know? It's like, sure, I did make my new video, and sure, I went on vacation, so I got stories to talk about. It's just like, I have nothing to talk about, because I just felt like almost everyone knows already, because I post almost everything I do on Facebook, you know? Because that's my social outlet, you know? That's where my friends are, so I just post everything so they know what I'm up to. So everyone knew I was Leatherface for Halloween. Everyone knew I took my Lex Luthor on vacation.
I've been up all night, trying to get there rich. I've been working on my shit.
And everyone knew I did something for my birthday.
Hey, it's Smarty!
Everyone knows I went to the Autorama. Everyone knows it. I posted a lot of things on Facebook, so everyone knows it. And I just felt guilty because, in October, I got a phone call from my friend Win, and he was like, Rocco and Boondock Saints.
You can't stop. You'll get out of here. Don't ever stop.
And then, just like the Boondock Saints, I let him down. I went into hiding and retired for 10 years and then made a shitty sequel, which is going to be this video. But the whole reason why I'm doing a new episode right now is because I just want to rant and rave about movies. I really want to. I just want to rave about these year's movies. But this year, we got some pretty damn good movies out. And I know some people don't like some of them. But to me, I think they're pretty damn good. And remember, they're just my opinion. So don't be hating on me saying, hey, you're wrong. It's just, I respect your opinion, but I just want to rant and rave about my movies too, you know what I'm saying? But before I get to that, I would like to plug my friend's podcast, Phil Dragish Podcast. It's called Phil and Jake in Conversation, where him and his brother Jake, they talk about movies and just a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, like me and you, we sort of like looking at other people's stuff.
It's just great. I like that show, One of my favorite episodes is when they talk about all of the Marvel movies. And Phil does the Stan Lee voice.
Stan, I must know, what are your thoughts on Punisher Warzone?
I love that film. Every time I watch it with my family and with my grandkids and their grandkids, we loved it. It's great.
It's a very entertaining show. I highly recommend it to you guys. Check it out. Click the link in the description. But I should give a little backstory. It's just like my friend Phil. I've never met the guy, It's just, and this show makes me feel like, hey, I know this guy. And like the same way for this show, because he's like, hey, the Frank Ireland Show, Actually, they talked about the Frank Ireland Show in one of their podcasts.
It's an old John Carpenter movie called They Live.
Oh yeah,
which I got in spirit of Halloween. So I
well
heard it was good. And I like.
Hey, wait a
John
second!
Carpenter.
I heard about this. They Live.
It's-
I learned
it's
about
sitting
this
on
by
this
watching
table.
the Frank Ireland Show.
Yeah.
Yep, I watched it today.
And I thought that was really great. I'm like, yes, I actually helped them out. But anyway, backstory. So back in 2007, 2008, I was looking up trailer mashups, and I found this channel that did like trailer dubs, and I thought it was hilarious. I thought they did a really great job, and I also realized they did dubs on the Lord of the Rings animated movie.
I think we should destroy that thing. I hate it.
Bilbo, what have we talked about drinking in the premises of Lord Elrond's? It's very naughty.
But I love it.
Bilbo, just shut up, you tipsy lad!
And that was hilarious. So in 2009, I actually found Phil on Facebook because I was, what do you call it? I was looking up the Ralph Bashki thing to like, to like on Facebook. I'm like, where's the Ralph Bashki page for the Lord of the Rings movie? And I found out like the only one there, the cream of the crop, was his page that he made for the movie himself called like the Lord of the Rings fan group or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's cool, it's Phil. So I'm like, all right. I sent him a friend request. We became friends, and throughout these years, we've never met, but we always, through Facebook, we talk about movies and our ideas for movies and all that stuff. And then he recently made this podcast with his brother. His brother is great because his brother just goes like on these like highly educated rants, like they sound really cool, and then he's always quieted down by like, "Shut up, Jake."
They'd use it in a way to serve the purpose of the film.
Stop. Get out of town. Get out of here.
It's great. But Phil and Jake, they're the two awesome guys. They do this great podcast. I highly recommend you check it out. It's really great. They talk about my show, so I talk about their show. We just plug each other, so that kind of sounded wrong. But click the link in the description. Check it out. If you like the Frank Ireland show, I believe you'll like their show. Like, seriously, they make more episodes than I do. Just check out their show. It's really great.
And now, our feature presentation.
Now, here's why I wanted to make this video. I just wanted to rave about movies. You guys know I love movies. They're just amazing to me. It's just, when I watch them, it just takes me to another world. It takes me on an adventure. And it's just, I fucking love movies. I've always loved movies. So this episode will just be me talking about the movies I've seen this year. First movie I'm going to talk about is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I can honestly say this is probably either the best, Marvel Universe movie or second best. I don't know, because Avengers is still up there. I'm going to go with second best. But Captain America, holy cow. This was a very awesome movie, because Captain America is kind of like the bland character out of all of them. But yet, like, he had like the best movie, and not only that, but this movie actually had something to affect the entire Marvel universe. Cause like it's S.H.I.E.L.D., man. Oh, I should say before I get farther, this video will have spoilers, of course. I can't contain myself.
No, I didn't rig those charges.
This video will have spoilers. So anyway, like fucking S.H.I.E.L.D. is infiltrated by Hydra. How did that happen? But it happened, and it was a great movie. It was highly entertaining. It was so much better than the first movie, because like the first movie, it was like a montage. It was like a great origin story with like Stanley Tucci, the Tooch. He was like, you need to be a good man. And it was like, yeah, Captain America. Then it's just like this huge ass trailer in the middle of the movie of like a montage. Everything they showed in the goddamn trailer was actually that. It wasn't a story. It was just, visuals. And I was like, oh. And then at the end, he fights the Red Skull, and the Red Skull's like, what have you done? And then he drops like the cube, and this whole cube was the only reason why that movie was made. But this one actually felt like, oh shit, man, things are actually happening. And, like, they actually introduced a cool villain character called Winter Soldier. He's not really a villain. He's more like an anti-hero. He's misunderstood. But finally, the Marvel Universe has finally made a better villain than, fucking Loki. Everyone loves Loki. I love Loki. I'm not going to, shit on him all the way. But Loki is pretty amazing. But other than Loki, there's no really great villains in the Marvel Universe. Hey, look, it's Neil Bronsky. He wants to get drugs or whatever the fuck his name is. Oh, look, it's Obadiah Stane. He built all these things in a cave. Yeah, whatever. And then there's Loki, Lokiing it up. But now we finally have the Winter Soldier, and that's great, He was really cool. I liked his intro scene where he just appeared. And then he blows up the car, and he's like, he means business. He's walking over, and then he pulls the door away, and then he looks in there, and he sees the Looney Tune hole cut into the ground. It was just great. Winter Soldier is definitely a thumbs up. Highly entertaining. I've seen it a while ago, so that's why I really have nothing else to talk about it. But, yeah. Alright. So the next movie on my list, this one, Alright, I know people don't like this one, and I totally understand why they don't like this one. They were expecting something different because in the 50 years of this character's lifespan, he's known mostly for his fights. And I'm talking about Godzilla. Godzilla.
It's Gojira, you moron!
So, this movie really splits the audience in half because a lot of them were expecting like Pacific Rim fights. They were expecting like, oh my god, Godzilla's gonna be fighting and it's gonna be da 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 da. They were expecting that, but it wasn't that, and I was cool with that. You know, I really was. Okay, so before this movie came out, I was like, I'm gonna try to watch all the Godzilla movies. So I watched the ones I owned. I watched Godzilla 98, King Kong versus Godzilla. I watched the original black and white Godzilla movie, and then I'm like, oh wait, I should watch the Japanese version. So I watched the Japanese version, and then I'm like, holy shit, Godzilla comes out next week, and I've only watched like 3 movies. So maybe 2 or 3 days before I watched the new Godzilla movie, I watched the director's first movie. Because I'm like, I should watch the director's first movie before I go see this new Godzilla. I want to see what he's made before, and to see if I liked it. It's called Monsters. It's from 2010. And I watched it, and I was lukewarm with it. I'm like, yeah, I get what he's going for. To me, it felt like a short film, which I'm sure it was at one point. But it felt like a short film that was stretched for like an 80, 90 minute, what do you call it, time limit. And it was just, it's like, I got it. I did like the characters at some points, but I just felt like the guy was a loser, and there was no reason why this woman would like him. But I did like how the monster scenes were filmed. I did like the ideas behind it. I liked the whole world it set up, because I did believe that, oh wow, this is a movie with aliens in it, you know. And maybe the monsters aren't really those things. It's, you know, people, because they're like overcharging them, and then they're like really icky people, and then, you know, it was an okay movie. I'd give it like 2.5 stars. Check it out, whatever. So I was like, okay, so he made that movie, and I've been seeing all these throwback like posters of the new Godzilla movies. They're like, oh look, it looks like the old Godzilla. So I'm like, okay, maybe I don't need to watch all the Godzilla movies. I just need to watch the original and this monster movie. So finally, I go to see Godzilla, and I was totally fucking surprised, because I was like, hey, check this out, you know? I was like, wow, the fucking movie had the balls to kill off Bryan Cranston, the one everyone jizzes over. They're like, oh, Bryan Cranston, oh, Bryan Cranston. It's like, I've never watched Breaking Bad. I don't really plan to watch Breaking Bad, but, you know, I get he's a good actor, you know? I get Bryan Cranston's a good actor. But sometimes I just find him kind of hammy, you know? So when I was watching Godzilla, I was like, holy shit, they killed off Bryan Cranston. And then, like, it starts following the main character. I know people don't like this main character, the guy played by Aaron Johnston. His name is, oh, fuck, I forgot his first name, but his last name is Brody, because I was like, yes, a Jaws reference! That's fucking awesome! So anyway, this Brody guy, you know, everyone doesn't like him because they're like, oh, he's boring, oh, he's like this, oh, he's like that. Sure, he could use some more character development, but I just saw him as, like, the John McClane of the movie, where he's like, I'm the only one who could do this job.
When was the last time you let one of your guys put their fingers in a live bomb? Look, this is what I do. This is my job.
And then, like, in the middle of the movie, he has to save his little kid. He's like, hey! You're always at the wrong place at the wrong time. He was totally John McClane in that respect.
Yo, why you try to hurt me, girl? Don't you know I'm Bruce Willis?
If this Godzilla movie was made, like, in the 1991 or 1990 or whatever, I could totally see Bruce Willis playing this character. Like, I just saw him as that, you know? Because he was always in the wrong place, wrong time, and he was the only guy who could do the job. It's like, you need a bomb expert? That's me. And I totally saw him as Bruce Willis, so I enjoyed the fuck out of that. And the other thing people always complain about this movie is, like, oh, there's no Godzilla fights, or you hardly see Godzilla. You know, it's like they show Godzilla and they cut away. It's like, dude, Like, the original black and white fucking movie does the same exact thing, you know? Like, you never see Godzilla in that movie until, like, towards the end. And, like, the first time you see him, you know, like, he pokes his little head out like the groundhog over the hill, and he's like, and then he, you know, ducks back down, and all you see is his footprints. This is a monster movie. And that's what I liked about it, too, because I like monster movies. I like King Kong. I like Creature from the Black Lagoon. I like the original Jaws. I like the original Godzilla movie. Like, I like monster movies. I like the slow pace, the slow reveal, and then, you know, like, at the end, it's all balls deep, and you see the monster in its full glory. And that's what this new Godzilla was, and I enjoyed that. So, like, what else can I talk about this movie? Let's see, I like Brody. I like the reason why I like the less is more fights is because I finally watched Pacific Rim. It's like I didn't see it in the theater because I'm like, that looks stupid. I don't want to see no anime manga crap. That looks dumb. But then, you know, after listening to my friend's podcast, Phil and Jake Conversation, click the link below. They talked about Pacific Rim and I'm like, hey, it was enjoyable. I liked it. You know, it's an okay movie. So I'm like, all right, I gotta check this out. So I watched Pacific Rim, and it was a good movie. I enjoyed the shit out of it. I actually liked the human characters, but whenever it went to the fights, I kind of got bored. I'll be honest with you guys. I just got bored. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna fucking blow it up. Yeah, they're gonna stop the monster. Because it was just like all CGI, and it's just like, bam! And it's like this huge monster fights. And I'm like, I don't care. Whatever. You know, I didn't really give a crap. And it was just CGI overload. And then after a while, you're like, yeah, fuck this. This is boring. And I'm so glad the new Godzilla wasn't like that. I'm so glad I did not get bored of seeing Godzilla. I'm so glad that his fights actually felt like, oh, there's weight between it.
Godzilla is pulling some hot stripper pole action on the Sears Tower, or whatever the we call it these days. What is it? Willis Tower? I'm hearing Willis Tower.
And, like, the easily comparable thing I could say this movie is to, because, like, there's an equal amount of destruction. Well, not equal amount, but pretty close, is Man of Steel. And I remember, like, that whole fucking Smallville fight until the end of the movie. I just felt like, oh my god, I want Man of Steel to end. And not at home, because at home I can enjoy Man of Steel for what it is, but in the theater, I just remember saying, oh my god, stop punching Zod. It's not doing anything. Oh, stop. Make it stop. And then, like, in Man of Steel, when, like, you think he destroyed the ship, and you think he saved the day, and the dust settles, and you see Zod, you're like, fuck! Damn it, stop! Just stop! I did not feel that way during Godzilla at all. I did not say, oh my god, Godzilla, just stop it. But anyway, I really liked it. And the most important thing, I think, that really backs up the reason why there's not that much Godzilla in this movie is because this movie is seen from the human perspective. Almost every shot from this movie is like a quote-unquote practical shot. It wasn't from, like, somewhere like a camera could never be set up. It was like, if this movie was really filmed with cameras, and they could only film it practically with, like, you have to put the camera somewhere, that's how the movie was shot, and I loved it, you know? It's just, like, and not only that, but since this movie is seen from the human perspective, people are not really watching the fights in real life. If there was really a Godzilla fight, I'm pretty sure most people would be running the fuck away from all the destruction that was going on. So, the reason why when you see it on TV and you see the Godzilla fight on TV, I thought that was perfect because I'm like, yes! Oh my god, because no one would really be watching the fights. The only people who would be watching the fights are news reporters, the army, or, oh god, I'm sure there's scientists from a fucking battleship or something. Those are, like, the only three kind of people who'd be actually watching the fight. So whenever you see, like, the fight, it's from an actual perspective, you know? Since we weren't following a news reporter, it was on the TV, and that was just great, you know? I was like, yes! And, like, my favorite fucking shot in the movie Godzilla is the scene on the bus. You're a passenger on the bus, and you just see Godzilla, and you're going with him, and he breaks through the fucking ridge. And you're just seeing it from that perspective, and it just felt so fucking cool on the big screen. It felt like, oh my god, oh my god, this is so fucking awesome, because you felt like you were inside the bus and you see this huge monster, and it totally worked. I just enjoyed the shit out of this movie. When Godzilla arrived, you knew shit was going down. It wasn't like, oh, here's Godzilla again. He was actually there to do crap. So, yeah, I know I just totally been raving about it, but I totally see why people don't like it. I'll get real for a moment. I get why people don't like it. I get that they wanted to see the battles, because that's how they know. That's what they know. But this movie was more aimed like the director's first movie, Monsters, and the original black and white one. It wasn't really the '60s goofy Godzilla where he's fighting the fights. That if you wanted that, that's more Pacific Rim. But yeah, I'm glad they didn't overdo him. That was really great. And what else? Let's see. There's that Godzilla. Okay, so now I'm done with Godzilla, basically. But I understand why you guys don't like it. Totally get it. You don't like the main human character. That's great. You wanted Bryan Cranston to live. I understand. It's like, so don't be like, oh my god, I hated that movie. It's like, I understand why you didn't like the movie. So, I'm just saying why I liked it. And the reason why I enjoyed it. But to me, it was just a surprise. It was something I wasn't expecting. And I really enjoyed that movie. And then the next movie that came out was X-Men. Alright, so X-Men, let me explain how I feel about the franchise. Okay, so when I was younger, of course, I had the X-Men toys. I kind of watched the cartoon. I wasn't like a religious watcher. I just caught a few episodes here and there. And when X-Men came out in 2000, I remember seeing it. It was at the drive-in. And it was really cool, and it was like, yes, this is X-Men, this is awesome, Wolverine's so cool. And then, like, the second one came out in 2003, and that was really great. And then the third one came out. I know people don't like the third one, but for the most part, I enjoy the third one. It's like, there's some cool characters, it's kind of colorful, it's kind of fun, it's a little wacky, a little campy. It's not as good as the first two, I'll say that. I know that. I'll admit that. But to me, I, for the most part, enjoy the third one. It's like, I don't read the comic books. I'm more like a Hulk, Batman, Punisher fan. And like X-Men, I don't really know. And to me, I'm like, yeah, this is X-Men. It's a teamwork. They're working together. There's Wolverine there. There's Beast. There's Magneto. This is fun. I'm having fun. So, that's the first three. And then there was the spin-off Wolverine movie, Origins, which is crap. And then there was First Class, which was too campy to me. It's like First Class is a decent movie, but that whole like beginning is just cringing. I cringe, I hate that codename scene. I hate that. Oh, you're what do you call it? You could be Banshee, and you could be Beast, and you could do that. I'm like, I hate that. I hated that. Oh my god. I almost left the theater during that scene. It was just god awful. But I totally love the ending when it's like Magneto doing his thing, where he's like, the real enemy is out there! The thing he always does in every movie. I'm like, yes, this is Magneto, and this is Xavier. This is great. So that's how I felt about that one. Yeah, that one's like, 2 stars. So, and then there was the new one, the new Wolverine movie, which I did not see in the theater because the trailer did not sell me. I'm like, this looks like, yeah. Well, no, I'm not doing it again. I'm not going to see another Wolverine movie. And then my friends were talking about it. There was one friend who was like, oh my god, this is like the best Wolverine movie ever. He's great. And then there was my friend Phil. He was like, no, this is just average, And then his friend Luke was like, no, this is really great. It's bloody brilliant. So I'm like, okay. Oh, and not only that, but my sister was like live blogging the movie to me through, she was texting me. She was like, this movie is awful. It's too loud. It's crap. This is ridiculous. So I didn't know what to think. I'm like, okay, my comic book friends are like, this movie rules. And my friends who just like movies and whatnot say it sucks. So I gotta put this argument to bed. I gotta see if this movie really sucks or not. So I rented the DVD and I was disappointed. To me, I did not like the new Wolverine. It was just like, it felt like Highlander, like a rewritten script of Highlander. Because the minute, like, she starts going, like, you were my Sully Bear when I was growing up, and he's like, oh yeah, and then they just make out. I'm like, there's no reason for them to be making out. There's no reason for them to get together. And, like, to me, if Wolverine was really in that situation, I just feel like, yeah, he's like, I don't give a fuck, I'm leaving. I feel like he would leave. after the old man died. I don't even think he would stay for the funeral. I think he'd be like, yeah, whatever, fuck it, I'm gone. And but for some reason he stays and he wants to protect this girl for some reason. I don't even remember. This is, I don't know. I didn't like it. To me, it felt like Highlander, because it was just, we're like, the minute Highlander, Connor McCloud says I'm immortal, he immediately is fucking the girl. Every Highlander movie is like that. So I felt like that for this, and not only that, but to me it just felt like a rewritten script for like a Jason Statham movie. That would explain why the third act and all the mutant crap, that Poison Ivy chick. And it would explain why they feel out of place, because to me, you could totally see Jason Statham, like, back in the day, he was protecting the president's daughter, and then she got hit or something, and she died, and he failed, so he went into hiding. So then someone says, hey, I need your help in Japan, and then, fucking Jason Statham's like, all right, I'll go to Japan. And then he would, protect his Asian girl. It just felt like that. It just felt so generic. It just felt like generic action movie. And I couldn't get behind it. I didn't like it. I did not like the new Wolverine movie. So when I saw trailers for this new X-Men movie, I'm like, oh my god, this could go either way. This could be either great or really bad. Because I'm like, oh my god, Bryan Singer's back. So that's good. That's really good. And I'm like, oh, good, Xavier's back, and the old Magneto. That's really great, because their storyline's really cool. And then they got Michael fucking Fassbender back. The fucking Fassbender! Shame! Fucking David! They got Michael Fassbender back, He's, like, huger than huge now. Because, like, when he made X-Men First Class, he was nobody then. But now it's, like, Michael fucking Fassbender. And then he's in this movie, and then they got fucking James, what's his name? Is it James McAvoy? Yeah, I think it's James McAvoy. They got McAvoy back. I was like, yes, this is so cool. But I'm like, oh, it's X-Men, right? So, like, the last, 3 movies have been So this one could go either way. So, I dragged my mom to see it. She was like, all right, I'll go see this. So I'm like, okay, we're seeing X-Men on my vacation. Hopefully it's good. Oh my god. So we go to see X-Men, and it was a fucking treat. And I felt like Templeton and Charlotte's Web. I was like, yes! This fucking X-Men movie is a smorgasbord. Because it was just giving you everything you wanted. It was like, it was fun. It gave you powers. They worked as a team. It had fucking Wolverine back in full form where he's like, bub, shing, shing. Well, he didn't do the shing because he had the bone claws. But it was so cool, and he was all like Marty McFly. He was like, look, Professor, I'm from the future, man. And, Xavier was like, oh, future boy, then how would you possibly know it? And anyway, it was really great. I loved it. And of course, Magneto does his, his Queen Diva thing where he's like, he has to make everything about him, where he's like working with the X-Men, and then last minute he fucking betrays them. You're like, god damn it, Magneto. Won't you learn? Won't you learn from your mistakes? But he never does. And it was just great. It was fun. And this is honestly like the first X-Men movie I want to own. Like, I own the trilogy, but I'm like, yeah, I got the trilogy because it was cheap. But this is the first one I really want to own. It made me feel like I was a kid again. This made me feel like, oh wow, this is X-Men again. This is fucking great. Like, you got Wolverine, and you got, we call it Xavier, and you got old Xavier, you got Magneto, and he's like a Queen Diva. Whenever old Magneto is on the screen, he's like, get out of my way, ladies, and he has like his cape, and he's like floating, and it's great. And then you got fucking, like, Mystique. This is like the first Jennifer Lawrence movie I really do like. Like, she was really good in Silver Spoon's Playbook. I really did like that movie. But, like, this was the first one I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, and Jennifer Lawrence. And I was like, yes, this is so cool. And then, like, it was just great. I really liked the new X-Men movie. It was a really surprise. And it was so fun. And it's probably my favorite X-Men movie. It really is. Like, the first 3, even though I do own them, but I have to watch them every once in a while because I'll just forget what they're about. It's like I kind of get the plot points. I remember scenes. I remember moments. I remember, like, Magneto pointing at his head going,
"You're sneaking around in your drawers."
And I also remember, like, Wolverine gets shot in the head. And, Xavier, or what's his name? Charles. He's like, Charles! That's all I remember from those movies. You know, it's just I don't remember them clearly, but I do just remember moments. But this new X-Men movie was like, fuck yeah, this is X-Men. This is awesome. So I like the new one. So if you want to see that movie and have fun in the theater, I highly recommend it. You go see that one. But, you know, I understand why people might have problems with it, because they might be like, well, this makes the entire original trilogy not exist anymore. Not really, because, you know, the audience, Wolverine, we're like Nero from Star Trek. I saw it happen. I was there. You can't tell me it didn't happen. I saw it. You know, we're Nero. Because, you know, we watched the old X-Men movies, so they did happen. And, you know, they're still there. You know, it's like, I can't hate it. I'm like, oh, this is bad because it makes those not exist. No, it's a fun movie. Sure, there's some continuity issues here and there, you know, but I don't care. It's X-Men. I'm having fun. It's great. It's enjoyable. Whatever. And, some people may be like, well, how was Xavier back? Did he blow up? Well, come on, guys. Come on. Don't you guys stay after the credits? He put his consciousness in the guy in a coma. He's like, so he's alive, you know, whatever. So I don't really have a problem with it, too. But not only that, but this movie made me excited. It made me think, like, wow, maybe we could have comic book movies that take place in different universes but happen at the same time. Like, with this new X-Men movie, you could have, like, 3 fucking franchises. You could have, like, First Class keep going. You could have the new future ones with Cyclops and old Wolverine and old Jean. You could have that continue, and you could have like a future movie. It'd be really great. You just have like tons of franchises off this, and they all just continue in their own like universe or whatever. And that's really cool to me. Like, I wish we could do that with like Spider-Man. Like, let's continue the Sam Raimi ones on their own timeline. You know. You guys could have your own Amazing Spider-Man over there, you people. But, like, you know, us old fans, you know, we could stay with Tobey Maguire. Let's see his Sinister Six, you know. Let's see that Lizard become real, because I think that Lizard has, you know, more of a story, because we'll feel for that Lizard more, because we've seen him through, like, 2-3 movies. So that could be cool. You know, I hope this X-Men movie does that. I hope it, like, hey, we could have, like, multiple universe movies. That'd be really cool. So that's what I think for that. So then, next movie I want to talk about is Maleficent. For you guys who don't know, maybe you guys do, maybe you guys don't, but I love the original Sleeping Beauty movie. It's really cool. I like Maleficent. She's really great. I like the design of Aurora. To me, she's like one of the greatest like design Disney princesses. Like, she's really beautiful. And when you watch that movie, it's like a work of art. It's like a painting come to life. Like, every background is so handcrafted with so much detail. It's fantastic. And, like, the animation for, like, Aurora and Maleficent, it's so smooth and so consistent. It's really great. Like, if you watch, like, something like Beauty and the Beast or, like, Aladdin, there's consistency problems. Like, every once in a while, Belle is too overly designed, and then some scenes she's simplified. And same thing with Aladdin. Like, there's some scenes where he looks really great, and then there's some scenes where it's like, oh, who drew Aladdin in that scene? But, like, Maleficent. But Sleeping Beauty and Aurora and all that, they're so greatly animated. Like, it looks so smooth, and it looks so great. And you have to go like, wow, this was made like in 1957 or 59, I think. And like they drew this, they painted that, and that's no computer. No computer animation was done then. It was just all cells and camera tricks. And that's really awesome, you know? That's really cool. So then with this new Maleficent movie, I'm like, okay, I like Maleficent. Let's see what you guys can do. Come on, let's see what you do with Maleficent. I seen what you guys did with Alice in Wonderland and, what do you call it, that's Snow White. Let's see what you do with Maleficent. Come on, bring it. So I went to see this movie. And I don't know, it's like, to wrap it up in a few words, it was just, they simplified an already simple story. They made this little girl, like, it opens up with this, like, girl with wings, and she's flying, and she's like, hello, my name is Maleficent. And it's like, oh, man, what? Because what parent would name their kid Maleficent? And, like, when you hear Maleficent, you think of villain. You think, like, oh, man, that's dark. You don't think like, oh, I'm a happy child in, fairyland. Hello, I'm the princess of the fairies, and I live in fairyland. And it's just like, oh, okay, all right, let's see where this goes. And then it's just really simplified, where she falls in love, like, fucking, what's his name? The prince, he's totally skater boy. He said, see you later, boy. He wasn't good enough for her. Or something like that, it was just, yeah. So anyway, he steals her wings, because when they're older, he wants to be king. So he's like, I'm going to be king. I'm going to betray my girlfriend. I'm going to cut off her wings. So then they get pissed at each other, and she kind of becomes evil. But I didn't understand one thing, like, since she's a fairy, wouldn't the fairies, like, feel sorry for her? Because, like, the Flora, Merryweather, and Fauna, they all should feel sorry for Maleficent. They should be like, aw, that dick, he cut off your wings. But no, somehow they're on King Stefan's side, They're like, hey, Maleficent, you bitch. I'm like, why? Why? What's going on here? Why are you doing that? And it was just, I don't know. It was a lukewarm movie. It's like, it had enjoyable parts. It wasn't like, it's just, I don't know. It's like, I hate this movie. I love how silly it was. I think I was laughing more at it than I was with it, because there's some scenes I'm like, they did that? Okay, that's great. That's, like, kind of irony great. But just for the most part, I did enjoy it, but it just felt like such a fucking simple movie. It felt like they wrote one script, and they're like, nope, this is it. This is the final draft. I'm like, what? This is only like the first version of the script, but they just kept it, And it was just very simple. It was just, ugh. But Angelina Jolie, she's great. She's really great in the movie. She's fantastic. I loved her in it. She was a great job. She was given like 3 pages of script, and she's like, I'll make these fucking 3 pages of script awesome. It's like, I'll fucking make this great. And she totally did. And man, she could still pull it off, man. Like, there's a scene in here where she's like wearing like all black leather. It was like, oh man, wow. She's like fucking 54 or whatever, and she still looks good. I'll say that, man. Because there was like this one cool image that I totally want as my desktop forever. And it was like, because she was like breaking through the wall, and it goes all super slow motion. It was like fucking I, Frankenstein, where she just like breaks through the wall, and it was like, and I'm like, yes, that's fucking cool, because it's Maleficent. But, I should just say that I enjoyed it for what it was, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't think I can hate it, because it's like, yeah, it's a fairy tale. It's for kids. Whatever. It's PG. I understand why it's simple. It's for little kids. They need something. But it was just, I can't wait for the fan art, because these fan arts, they're going to be like, oh my god, Aurora loves Maleficent. Aurora loves Maleficent. Oh my god, I ship them. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see those, because they're just going to go way out of place, and they're going to be horribly drawn in some cases, but I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the music videos on YouTube. You know what they did for the Joker, where they made like all these music videos that totally didn't go with him, but they put all these After Effects like stuff on it, and they made it like, oh look, it's Joker ships Batman. Now we can have Maleficent ships Aurora. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see these videos. But I'm so happy now that Maleficent and Aurora and Sleeping Beauty is popular. There's going to be more merchandise. That's so cool, because, there's not that much Sleeping Beauty merchandise. And whenever kids see Sleeping Beauty, they're like, who's that? They're like, I know, that's Cinderella, and that's Snow White, and that's Belle, and that's Ariel, and who the fuck is that? And it's like, whenever they put Aurora in the blue dress, they're like, oh, that's Cinderella. I got in an argument with somebody once, because I'm like, that's Aurora. Look, it's the blue dress, it's the hat, it's not Cinderella. Look at the hair. But anyway, I'm so glad now kids can go like, hey, that's Aurora. That's so great. And hopefully we can get more villain movies that are not really villains. I want to see the McLeach movie, because there's no McLeach, we call it merchandise. Let's see the McLeach movie played by Liam Neeson, where like Cody, he's like the little kid, and he's like, oh, this poacher's an evil poacher. He's been hunting all these animals, and you turn out Liam Neeson McLeach is like, I'm not hunting these animals. I've been trying to save them from the real enemy out there. And it turns out the real enemy, like the park ranger, is the real enemy, and McLeach has actually been saving these animals. It would be really great. And we gotta have Liam Neeson as McLeach, though, so he could be like, I had a wife. She was my everything, and she was taken from me. And she loved animals, so I saved animals. It'll be really great. And then we could have, like, the Gaston movie. All right, I've always had this idea for this Gaston movie where it's an alternate universe where it turns out Gaston's really a nice guy, played by Channing Tatum, where he's like a shy guy, where everyone thinks he's handsome, he's the best, but, you know, Gaston doesn't know that. He's like a shy guy, and he's good at hunting, you know that. And then he likes this girl, Belle, because she, like, reminds him of him. Like, she's kind of shy, but it turns out she's, like, really bitchy towards him. She's like, fuck you, Gaston. You're such an asshole. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to be nice to you. It's like, I'm trying to bring you flowers. And Belle's like, fuck you. And then she gets kidnapped by the Beast, and he's like, oh, my God, this is my time. And then his friend, you know, played by Charlie Day, he's like, hey, man, I'm LeFou, man. You can be like, you gotta save Belle. And, like, Channing Tatum's like, okay, I gotta save Belle. Come with me, LeFou. And Charlie Day's like, yeah, man, I'm LeFou. And then they go on this huge adventure. It'd be great. And at the end, you find out the girl that's really for Gaston is the one who's always been there. She's one of the triplets, and she's like, I love you, Gaston, but, you know, he always saw her as a friend. And at the end, they become, you know, like, they get married, and Belle ends up with her prince because she's a total hose beast. And it's so good. You know, I want to see these Disney movies made. I want to see the friendly McLeach. I want to see the friendly Gaston. Let's make it happen, Captain. Let's make an Ursula movie that's exactly like Maleficent. Let's make it happen. I can't wait to see that. It'll be great. So my final review for Maleficent, if you're a fan of the movie, see it. If you don't, But it's just like that kind of movie. It's like, It's that kind of movie. And since I'm sure everyone on YouTube is like, oh my God, what do you think of Amazing Spider-Man? What do you think of Amazing Spider-Man? I know my Facebook friends are like, yeah, we all know what he thinks of the new Spider-Man. But I'm sure my YouTube fans are like, oh, what's the Spider-Man movie? Okay. I didn't want to see Spider-Man. I did not want to see it. But my friend Phil, my friend Stella, and just, you know, I was interested. I had to see this fucking movie because I heard so much good things about it from Sam's channel, you know. I was listening to his review, and he was like, this is shit. So I'm like, I gotta see this shit movie. I gotta see how bad this fucking movie is. And boy, was it. I hated Amazing Spider-Man 2. I thought it was god-awful, you know. Hang on. I'll say my positive things. I liked the 29 minutes of Spider-Man scenes. To me, Spider-Man was Spider-Man. He had the quips. He did cool Spider-Man things. You know, he was fighting Electro. That was really cool. Every time Peter Parker was in the suit, except for that one scene where he goes to Harry, I liked Spider-Man for who he was. And that's only 29 minutes. The other hour and 40 minutes of shit I did not like. I liked 29 minutes of a movie out of fucking hour and 40. There's an hour and 40 of this movie that I don't like. It's just awful. I don't like anything. It's just bad. I don't understand people who stand up for this movie. They're like, well, they're building up for something good. Yeah, it doesn't work, though, you know? It's like, there's not going to be any origins anymore. That Rome has, like, this octopus arms and vulture wings. It's like, they could just hand those out to anybody. Rhino sucked, and he was in all the advertising. Like, why would they do that? Why would you, like, the guys, they show the ending of the movie in the trailer. They show Gwen Stacy die. They show Spider-Man throw the manhole. They showed everything in these trailers. I hated it. I hate this movie. I honestly, I don't use the word hate often, but I hate this movie. Like, I hate everything about it. I hate how they're trying to build a universe. I hate how they're moving so fast. I hate how you could take any scene out of this movie and it wouldn't make a goddamn difference. You could take out the fucking father plot line. You could take out Harry Osborn, and the movie would still make sense. In some way, it would. Because they don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck about Harry. For some, you meet Harry, and then 20 minutes later, he's evil. And then they inject him with this shit, and then he's like, ugh. And he crawls to the fucking... Oh my god, I hate this movie. I hate Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, I fucking hate it. Like, I thought I was just gonna like it because I remember in the early days when this was in the works, they announced that Jamie Foxx was gonna be in it. I'm like, oh, I like Jamie Foxx. He was really good in Django. I liked him in Collateral. He could do something really cool with this character, you know. And then like I'm like, oh, this is gonna be cool, you know. It's gonna be Electro. And then they introduced Harry Osborn. I'm like, oh, Harry Osborn's gonna be in this. Okay, hopefully he's just Harry. Hopefully he's not Goblin. And then he's gonna be Goblin. I'm like, ah, fuck, he's gonna be Goblin. And then there's Rhino. I'm like, oh, fuck, there's going to be a Rhino. And then I saw the movie. It was terrible. Oh, my God. I'm so glad I did not want to pay for this movie. I watched the bootleg of it. And I fucking hated Amazing Spider-Man 2. I hated it. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's like, it's a shame. It's really a fucking shame. Because those Spider-Man scenes, those 29 minutes of Spider-Man are really fun and entertaining. And it's great. You know, it's really fun. But oh my God, this movie is like the equivalent of the opening scene of Evil Dead 2. You know how Evil Dead 2 opens up with like the narration and then it quickly recaps Evil Dead 1 within like 10 minutes? That's the equivalent of Amazing Spider-Man 2. They totally recap what happened in the Sam Raimi movies, basically. They recap that Harry is the Goblin. They recap that, what do you call it, fucking... he stops being Spider-Man. They skip that over 5 minutes. That's like an important plot in the Spider-Man books where he's not like Spider-Man no more. And in this movie, it's like brushed over in 3 minutes. It's ridiculous. Oh my, it's just, oh. I did not like this movie. I did not like Amazing Spider-Man. Oh my God. But this one, it's just, apparently they're not going to go serious. They're just going to go back to the Sam Raimi bright colors. I'm like, okay, what was the point of the reboot if you're going to go back to that? What was the point of the reboot? Damn it. And also, I don't even know, because I skipped the father scenes because they had no importance to me, because I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I watched the opening scene with the father downloading stuff on his computer. I'm like, what is this? Who cares? And then later in the movie, out of nowhere, like, Peter Parker, you know, he just fought Electro in Times Square, and then he goes home and he's like, you know what? I'm bored right now. I'm going to find out what happened to my dad. I'm like, whoa, come on now. Come on. Oh, goofy thing, too. If you guys are still listening. The fucking goofy thing about Amazing Spider-Man 2, it shows that Peter Parker was playing hide and seek by himself. Remember in the first one where he's like, 3, 2, 1, ready or not, here I come. And he goes fighting his dad. He wasn't even playing with his dad. His dad was in his basement fucking jerking off, uploading files. You know, he wasn't even playing with his son. His son was playing by himself. They're both playing with themselves, Hoopa. And it was just, I thought, it's just an awful movie. Awful. Awful movie. I do not like the movie at all. It was terrible. It's a terrible movie. Oh my God. Anyway, that's how I felt about Amazing Spider-Man 2. Go ahead, post your comments. Whoa, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is amazing. It's not. It's not amazing. It's really... I hate that movie. I hate it. I hate it. So, with that said, oh my God, this is already 50 minutes. Yeah, I'm not going to do a top 5. I was going to do a top 5 Disney movies, but I guess I'll save that for a later time. But, yeah, so this has been the episode. I'm just ranting and raving about movies. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you're still listening. But anyway, I think next time I'm going to do my top 5, maybe top 10 Disney movies. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. My friends have been wanting me to do it. It's just, I haven't done it yet. And hopefully next time I will. So, hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm Frank Ireland. Have a great day, everyone.